Alrighty, y'all, welcome back to the Complete Husband's Handbook podcast. We're finishing up this month's book, The King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, by focusing on the king. Now, when most people hear that, they think of some regal monarch in complete and utter control of their domain, of their destiny. They know what they want and they're gonna get it no matter what. Damn the consequences. Well, in this instance, the king is the perfect aspect of the last three things we focused on. He has the love and the lust for life and sees the good in life that the lover has, but is not bogged down by those heightened and dangerous emotions. He's knowledgeable, he's learned, like the magician, but he's not caught in whimsy and caught in the dazzling conversation of people who will do him wrong. He's battle hardened, he's weary of the world. He's lived in the world long enough to know what he can do to win in his life. The king is trustful or trustworthy of the people around him. He's studied, he's educated, he's put in the hours. He's the one everyone goes to on the shop floor, or he's the one people go to in church, or when they have a problem or a difficulty, he's the friend everyone calls. He's disciplined, firm, decisive, and protective. He leads his group with fairness, but is willing to call people out on their crap when they need it. He keeps his feeling of life in a sense that he focuses on the good, but also plans for those rainy days when things don't go as well. He enjoys life. He tries to stop and smell the roses without being too caught up in the moment. He understands that there's times to put boot to butt to get things going, and there's times to lean back, enjoy the quiet moments of life with his wife or his children, with his friends, to just be there, to enjoy the people around him. He lives by an internal code, and it's that code that keeps him from making really bad decisions. Whether he's family oriented, driven by his career, helping others, it's the code that he has that betters the people's life around him. If his friends know that there's a line he won't cross, they won't even ask him about it. If they know that he's one of those friends, come hell or high water, you call him, he's going to be there, they're not going to abuse that aspect because they know his code also says there are fair weather friends that I really don't need. But mostly, the king makes the world a better place. Now, recently, my wife and I watched Zootopia, which has multiple layers and is a really great movie. But in the beginning, the main character, Judy Hopps, just wanted to make the world a better place. And she didn't understand what that meant. And the trial she had to go through to do that led to heartache and pain, but ultimately, she did make the world a better place, just not in the way she thought. And so the king aspect, or the king archetype, I should say, wants everyone to succeed if they put in the work. He's willing to mentor, he's willing to help, he's willing to take on extra aspects or even extra work to ensure that those under him have the time and have the training so that they in turn can do that for others. The king also builds integrity daily. He knows that he's not perfect. Nobody is. There's only been one perfect being on this earth, and he hasn't been here for quite some time. But the king is always improving himself. Again, he lives by a code but knows that he's not infallible. If there's an issue he's caused or a need to apologize, he does, especially to those he's closest to, his wife, his children, in those moments where he's weak or has heightened senses of emotion, such as anger. He's quick to ask forgiveness, and he actively seeks to better himself so that those around him don't have to feel hurt or disrespected. But most of all, and this is the key point, he takes responsibility. Now, the lover really isn't that responsible. Wants what they want and they want it now. The magician wants to learn responsibility but knows nothing of the world. The warrior can get so overwhelmed with the hardness of life that they become bullheaded and just charge through regardless of the consequences. But to be a king, to be a true king to oneself, one's family, one's friends, and one's work, you have to take responsibility. If you messed up, say, hey, I messed up. Don't give any crazy, oh, this is somebody else's fault. Take full responsibility. And in the end, people will respect you for it. If asked why you did it, explain why without blaming others. For example, when I was a shift supervisor for a security company, I had one of my guards go home sick. She was really sick. I called it in. I took it upon myself to finish out the shift with just me. Later on in the week, I was asked by our contact there, why did I send her home? And I said, well, it was my call. I did it. I take full responsibility. And where that shocked my boss, that I wasn't throwing people under the bus, he gained a respect for me that he didn't have before, that he saw that I'm willing to put myself at risk, quote unquote, to protect my crew, to protect the people under me. The people I worked with saw me with new eyes, that they're like, wow, he's willing to do this. Now I've had bosses in the past who have straight up said to my face, I will throw you under the bus to better my career. That's not a king, that's a tyrant. So, which one are you going to be? Are you going to be the king that's disciplined, firm, decisive, that lives by an internal code, that makes the world a better place, that builds integrity daily, and takes responsibility for your actions? Or will you be the tyrant that has all the bad aspects of the lover, the magician, and the warrior, and it's never your fault? I hope that all of you can become kings in every aspect of your life. Thank you for joining us.